kind of team.
It's a well-rounded versus an all-star in support. We're gonna have to see how it works. It looks like I hardly know it's gonna be in the green, and Ruben 5 seconds in. I know this isn't a race, but my goodness, Ruben starting the scoring early here.
David answering quick.
And now 5 seconds in, I would not be surprised if KJ just does some mechanically incredible things, just try to take over the game.
They're making a point of emphasis. I hardly know where it is, and they're showing them that they're confident.
Ruben makes it 2-0. What? Okay, what happens here? Haluva is on the goal line, and he challenges it. He gets beat to the ball, and that is all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. If you're last back and you get beat to the ball, you better hope that thing is wide. Not the case here.
They are setting the tone extremely early. They just have this confidence about them. You know, I've said it's been necessary before, and it seems necessary now. They are full throttle on them.
Full throttle. Fourth gear is pinned wide open. For I hardly know, our backboard read's not going to get there as KJ will just take the touch away. Truffle, he's just going to do a bit of a flyby, just a bit of misdirection. Trying to get a center. There's a demo by Haluva.
There are some cracks. I see some cracks in TPS right now. I see some slight misses. And there's another.
Okay. I wasn't sure if KJ just got robbed from an incredible read, but Haluva was there to knock this one in the back of the net, cutting the deficit in half, and there is plenty of time, Blake, for this one to get tied up.
You know, that was a big mistake there. That wasn't a little one. That was obvious, which could be a good thing. And you do see right there, they have one person in goal. It's no longer two. They might not be in the right position, but they've lessened. They might have been listening to our commentary.
Shot on by Ruben again. He's really been the offensive workhorse for I hardly know her. But now things seem to calm just a little bit.
You see clean rotations here.
Dash. Yep, clean rotations. KJ gonna wave dash, gets a dunk. It's gonna be well widened into the corner. And you bring up positioning, Blake, and that is going to be so key for this I hardly know her squad to stay in it.
KJO is definitely ball chasing a little bit more than he was before, but it's causing him the deficit right now.
And speaking of Ruben, he's now 3 for 4. Makes it 3-1.
This man is absolutely on fire.
He is.
Look at the way that he's confident. He's going after it. He is going after it. He's taking charge.
Sometimes, if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself. And for Ruben, he is really stepping up to the plate here and taking control. Truffle wasn't able to put that far angle shot on. And now Haluva trying to center. Now it's going to cross the other side of the field, but KJ is lurking and he is ready for it. Couldn't get the air dribble to go where he wanted.
KJ may be focusing on the flash a little too much here with these twirls and whirls in the air. He's got to play a little bit more conservative if he's going to get past this very conservative team.
Well, this is going to, oh my goodness, he gets robbed by the crossbar. This is going to sound a bit weird, but the way he spins when in the air when he aerials is purposeful. It allows you to, I don't know the real math behind it, but it allows you to elevate yourself faster when you boost, when you kind of spin like that. And a lot of players just do it out of habit once they get the movement down. And so now, with a minute 15 left to go here in game 1, KJ slowing it down. Tries to get the 50 to go through, but Dar stuffs him at the line. Gonna stay a 2-goal lead for I Hardly Know Her. This one's gonna drop.
TPS is in for a shock.
Yes, TPS is definitely in for a shock, trying to drop that one straight down. But now, a minute to go, Blake, and I am stunned. I was not expecting game 1 to go this way.
You can count me in on that. You see, I Hardly Know Her making the right moves. They are reading the ball correctly, and they're making the right rotations, and it's going to turn out well for them, it seems, in this match.
Fraud working this one around. 20 seconds to go. TPS to need one right here, right now. But they're too busy playing defense, and as the clock winds down, it will be I Hardly Know Her getting the upset here in game 1.
You cannot have it all, and TPS is in for a rude awakening in this first match. You see this scoreboard up for you right here. Fairly well balanced, except for on the TPS side. Again, you have this Michael Jordan figure, and you got these role players right below him. Although Hell of a Time had the one goal for him, it doesn't seem as well balanced as it does for I Hardly Know Her.
And that really kind of what it comes down to is everyone has to pull their own weight. And for TPS, that's not really the case, and that's where they struggle. Whereas with I Hardly Know Her, they have a full squad of 3 solid players, and sometimes at the end of the day, even when you're lower ranked, that can be what leads you to victory, is just being a solid unit.
I love how clean cut this is presenting itself as. This one team that's focusing on one player and the other that's focusing on themselves as a whole. It is so interesting to watch, and it's so textbook. This whole showcase has been seeming so textbook in terms of what should happen, how people, when they plan a certain way, how it executes. And it's been so much fun to watch.
I have been having a blast the past hour and a half or so. It's been so much fun watching all these teams go at it. But here, with an upset in game 1, I don't think this is going to be a sweep here, Blake. So I'm curious to see what TPS can do to get back within this series.
They got to bring up their assists. They got to bring up those numbers that are going to lead to them winning this showcase. They have the talent. They presented it, and they just need to bring it all together. They need to plan it. They need to organize. They need to communicate just a little bit better than I Hardly Know Her is right now.
And again, for I Hardly Know Her, I'm stunned that they took game 1 where I thought TPS was just going to dominate, but that doesn't seem to be the tale here. So going into game 2, I'm excited to see what I Hardly Know Her can do, see if they can continue their success, or if TPS, can finally get the ball rolling here in the series.
It seems that game 2 has always been the taste of what the whole series is going to look like. Is this a fluke? Is this a Cinderella story that just doesn't turn out to be? You know, we've all seen March Madness. Is this just another representation of it?
And it's not March just yet. Again, Blake, you're jumping the gun. We're here. We're ready for game 2. And right off the bat, Ruben has to make a big save, but KJO, we were questioning when he would wake up. And it only took him 7 seconds.
Making a huge point of emphasis right off the bat, just like Ruben did in the last game. And you saw how that turned out for them. And let's see how it does for them.
Early start here for TPS in game 2. We're going to have to see if they can extend their lead here. Dar gets bumped off the ball, and Truffle just gets crossed up. And now it is all tied up. Truffle just not sure where he wanted to go with that one. And just like that, we're all knotted up once more.
You see Dar finally making a name for themselves, and it's beautiful to see. You love to see everybody participating, and that's what this I Hardly Know Her team is showing. They're giving everybody a chance. They're not putting an emphasis on one person, and they're giving opportunities all the way around.
KJ just in the corner, just trying to get a grasp of the ball so he can air carry it just into open space. Haluva gonna pop that one up, and KJ is gonna extend the play. What KJ does is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. I want to make that of note. He is very mechanically sound in doing what he does.
I bite my tongue again because I see him doing those swirls, and it seems to just make his hits that much more articulate and that much more defined.
Oh,
right there,
again,
almost
KJ,
just had it.
a laser being put on net. Gonna go to the wayside by KJ. There's a double commit in the crease, but Truffle can't get there. And Farad gonna give his team the lead once again.
They're taking it. They're taking the emphasis away. You know, I thought that the first goal defines the whole game, but apparently not. Maybe the game one was not just a fluke.
It's sure looking like it right now, Blake, that game one may not be a fluke. And I hate to say it, but it kind of comes down to Truffle just not being able to keep up with this team. What a save by Ruben on the goal line. The ball was halfway in. But in Rocket League, the ball has to go all the way through that invisible threshold, we'll call it, for the goal to count.
I think KJO needs to give his teammates more chances. You know, they may not have that label of grand champ, but they can contribute as well, and he's just not giving them those opportunities.
KJO really just, honestly, from what I'm seeing, he's overcompensating for his teammates. He is trying to put this team in his backpack and carry them. And it isn't really working out from what I can see. Good 50
There's a mutual
there by
understanding
KJ.
too. Each teammate is seeming to know that when he has the ball, they're backing off. They are getting in position, and it doesn't always turn out well for him.
And for KJ, I mean, having his teammates back off, I don't think that's necessarily the right play. They need to support their teammate rather than just leave him solo into a 1v3. So now is Ruben just holding the zone. Minute 45 here to go. And TPS cannot find an answer.
You see, I hardly know her with those little mistakes that they've been showing in past games, but it does not seem to make an impact on what they're trying to do here. And I hope it doesn't, because I hope they've learned, and I hope they've listened, but you know, you never know. It's anybody's game still.
KJ trying to work this one upfield, but if you look in the midfield, he just has no teammates to support him. And behind him, Truffle and Haluva are just kind of twiddling their thumbs, waiting for something to happen, waiting for KJ to score. But he can't do it by himself. Going for a flip reset. He is trying to pull out all the stops, put his team back into this game. Unable to do so.
That was a good job by that was a good job by I Hardly Know Her to challenge that with the 2v1.
And sometimes just throwing bodies at the ball is the best strategy. I Hardly Know Her, they look very comfortable with this 1-goal lead here late. Trying to go for more, but Truffle, he's awkward with it. And now Dar just putting this one into open space. KJ. Air carries this one to the other side, bounces back towards the midfield. Shot by Haluva, we have a tie game.
That was a beautiful pass. crossfield. Not the most intentional thing in the world, but he made the best of it.
And now with a tie game. 12 seconds left. I'm going to bite my tongue a little. Hold off unless something absurd happens.
That seems to be the theme.
KJ. It's going to be just short, and we do have overtime. Going to need that extra frame. Golden goal. First to score, KJ. Air dribble. He finds the top shelf where Dad hides the whiskey. Makes it 3-2. Only needs 7 seconds. And again, he just needs a little bit of time, a little bit of space, and a little bit more boost than what he had all game. And that's all tied up in the series, a 1-1.
He is not giving him any breaks whatsoever, and he is just consistent with his stats, which is a great thing. But, you know, there's holes. It doesn't always turn out the best for him. But in this case scenario, it did great for him, and it is great for him to capitalize on those little moments, especially in overtime when people think it's like a few seconds that they might want to reset, or a few seconds that they can, you know, get back, but they really can't. It's go time. As soon as the ball hits the ground in regular time, overtime starts, and you got to be ready.
You got to be ready, and a lot of times in overtime, both teams still play a little bit more passive because they don't want to make that first mistake, and oftentimes in overtime, that first mistake is the last mistake. And that's really what Rocket League comes down to, is who makes the first mistake and who makes the last mistake. And right there, it wasn't even a mistake. It was just a phenomenal play by KJ. And with that, the series is tied. I want it noted that the 2 goals that I Hardly Know Her had came from the only 2 shots that they put on net. So 100% shooting versus the 33% shooting that TPS had, as they went 3 for 9.
And again, with biting our tongues, I said before, this has been such a textbook showcase, and obviously it has not been the case for this series, and I don't know what to make of this. I don't know who is going to have the upper hand, because it just goes so back and forth, and what should happen doesn't happen, which is exciting. This is great. We love to see this, but it is just so hard to read and so hard to understand as a viewer.
As there's so much that KJ can do that he has shown off, it's just a matter of trying to force the ball through 3 other cars when he doesn't have a whole lot of support from his teammates, as they are so busy on just focusing on not getting scored on a counterattack that they forget that they have to help their teammate play offense.
Something that I really like that I Hardly Know Her is doing is they don't have that articulation with hits, but they're just throwing their bodies, and it's working defensively.
And sometimes on defense, that's the best thing you can do, is just get in front of the ball and make sure it doesn't go in your own net. KJ, he centers. There's a beautiful shot, and Ruben,
what a save!
He's going to get away with robbery here. As I thought for sure that ball was going to find the back of the net. But we are still scoreless here in the first 30 seconds. Again, Ruben is diving at everything and bailing his team out. Well, one of these times, it's not going to get stopped by Ruben. It will find the back of the net. KJ,
you can't be everywhere.
Scenario gets the flick. It's just high. And now
I Hardly Know Her's got to watch their stacking in the goal.
They do.
They can't get too close. There's these little moments that I see them, they're slipping, but they can't. They cannot fall back into this defensively. It's just not going to turn out for them well. And we've had, what, 4 or 5 examples of that?
Exactly. And, you know, they have to spread out. They have to cover as much of the field as they can. Because even if you're nowhere near the ball and you're not going to hit the ball, you being in a certain spot will prevent the other team from hitting the ball there.
You gotta play that zone defense almost. That seems what Rocket League is all about. You can't play man to man. It's almost impossible to just stick to one person or stick to one position. You gotta be versatile in where the ball goes. You gotta play off of it, and that is the little part that you have to be reactive. Sure, it's a lot of proactivity, but at points you gotta be reactive and you gotta switch into the right sections of the field.
And that's where rotations come into place, because in normal soccer where you have centers, midfielders, wingers, and defenders, in Rocket League at the competitive level, you have a rotation of where it's just kind of 3 players driving in a giant circle, attacking the ball. And I know that sounds a little bit weird to say, but they kind of just run a cycle. It's like person A hits it, and then they rotate back, then B, then C. And it's just this constant ebb and flow of maintaining pressures. KJ trying to bait out a defender on an air dribble, but it's just not going to happen. Fraud, massive clear, but it's a better read by KJ.
And that rotation you're talking about, it is astonishing how resembling real life soccer is to this game. People take the strategies and the same type of offense as well as defense, and they apply it to this game, and it works. It's been proven to work. Sure, you got, the whole flying cars thing isn't super relatable, but besides that, the very bare bones of this game can be very much applied to real life soccer.
I mean, I'm actually going to counter your statement and turn this into an argument. Rocket League is actually hockey based on not soccer, because in soccer you can't bank the ball off the wall or anything like that. So
I'll give you that.
That's just how
I will give you that, but
it's I swear it's not just because I'm from Minnesota and I'm a big hockey guy, but it's just how it's played. It's just how the game flows. Because with soccer, there's a lot of 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. But with hockey, there's this constant ebb and flow back and forth, and Haluva from near midfield gonna break the drought and finally put a point on the board, give his team the lead here.
That's an impressive mid-air speed to get. He got what, 95 kph on that mid-air, just kind of rising up to the ball. That's pretty impressive to put that much speed on it.
And it is very important that when you hit the ball and you want to put some real sauce behind it, that you dodge or flip into the ball before you hit it, just to put that extra oomph on it. KJ, off the ceiling, his teammate wasn't there for the shot. That would have been gorgeous. But now, final minute. I hardly know her. They need 1 to tie. They got to go the full length here as they're getting pinned in within their own corner. But as I say, so Dar with it will send it the other way.
I'm really hoping for an overtime again. That was extremely exciting, and I really just want them to have. I hardly know her to have another chance to prove that they got this. They have the confidence and the keys that they need to win this game, and I really don't want it to come down to the time. I want it to come down to the skill.
Well, 7 seconds here. KJ, he's just wasting time. Helova bouncing this one down. Still in the corner, in the air. It's thought it dropped. There it is. And now TPS, they will take, I believe this was game number 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they now lead the series 2-1.
That is a rough stat line to see on I Hardly Know Her. A lot of donuts. And to be fair, a fair amount of donuts on TPS as well, but they just had just that extra bit that got them where they needed to be. How are you feeling about this? I know this isn't what we expected, but is it the way that they're playing? Is it what you would have expected?
I mean, how do I word this? I'm surprised that the series is this close and that the games have been this close. I expected TPS to just dominate, like they did in the first series that we saw them play. But now I'm confused because this does not look like the same team. It looks like they have a different agenda. KJ is just not having the success that he had in the first series. So I'm just a little curious on what's going on. because this is not the series that I was mentally prepared for.
And maybe I hardly know her crossed that threshold of ranks, because I have here that they're majority platinum, and of course 10kg was majority gold, a little bit of platinum, but it's showing that that threshold is just enough to throw them off that this guy, that KJO, can do everything, which they're proving that he can't.
And now you went like this when you said the gaps between KJ and everybody else. It's more of like this, where he's just off the screen. The skill gap between KJ and everyone else it's near infinity. It's near infinite because he has so much control with the ball in the air, and everyone else is just watching up above as he goes by. Because what are they going to do? There's only so much they can do, and then he's got Haluva and Truffle to help him out. And granted, I think they did a little bit better. Haluva, he was able to put the ball in the back of the net, but I'd like to see them do a bit more because the games are just a little too close for comfort for me.
And I understand it. I get it. I'm gonna counter your point here. I think KJO does have that huge gap, but you need a good support system. We're not doing one-on-one. We're not doing duos where that can be slightly acceptable. But 3v3s is so team-based. It's so pass-heavy, and getting it across so that somebody can come down and score it. Probably not articulating myself in the best way about this, but it is so team-based, and that's why this is 3v3. It's not one-on-one. If it was, I would fully agree with you.
And it's coming to the point where it's now 2-1 in the series. So right now for I Hardly Know Her, they gotta win this next match, or their backs will be against the wall. And if they lose this next match, I don't have a lot of faith in them, because I think if KJ can get the confidence, and KJ, Truffle, and Haluva, if they can get that confidence and be like, okay, we're one game away, I think they're going to check out. So
definitely, and I think that game 2 used to be a deciding factor, but that was mainly, I guess, for those sweep games. And it turns out that when there's some pushback, you really don't know. But this game, I do agree, will be a very defining point for both teams, especially I Hardly Know Her. And I just, I love a good underdog story. I'm going to stay unbiased, but we'll see what they can do. And hopefully they can keep doing what they're doing for the most part, with just a little bit more flavor, a little bit more push.
I think they're in a good spot. I Hardly Know Her, but it's just a matter of putting the ball in the back of the net and getting those chances. It's about getting those chances and then capitalizing on them, really, because if you have 5 open nets throughout a game and you don't score at all, those are going to be the points in the game where you're going to be like, we got to do better than that.
That's where your friend yells at you. It's the little wide open goals where you just make the little mistake and it messes it all up.
Early game number 4 here. We're going to have to see what Ruben and co can do to get back within this series. As it's been a nail-biter. All 3 games have been very close. Haluva's pinch shot gonna go just wide. Truffle with a strong clear, trying to play hot potato with it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the movement of the ball. It's really fast. It gets across field pretty quick, which is not always the good or the best strategy to have, but it's making for some pretty entertaining gameplay.
Dard wasn't able to get much in the corner. KJ, he's going to misflip. This could be an open shot opportunity. Posting out. Fraud overshoots it. And it's going to trickle through. It's Dar to put his team in the lead when they needed it most.
Dar with an absolute save. Oh, that was so painful to watch him miss that and go slightly under that, but thanks to Dardar, they get it done.
And once again, it's what happened to the pressure that TPS had earlier. It just seems to have disappeared. And I'm a little confused. Now KJ, with the air dribble once again, it's going to find the back of the net. And you got to throw bodies at this guy. I think that was what you were saying, Blake, and I fully agree. You have someone on the backboard, and you got to jump off that backboard and make KJ make a move because he's just too comfortable.
How many times have we seen that animation play through that goal? They got to find a solution. These are the proactive moments. These are the times that you need. Oh, there you go, Truffle.
And Truffle, I believe, going to get his first game of the evening. KJ faked the flip reset. Everyone bought it. And Truffle had a tap in. It's now 2-1. Everything is falling apart at the seams as no one can stop the ball from putting it in the back of the net. So now...
Again! Almost.
So now it's just a question of... Well, how do I put this? This is how every Rocket League game goes. Who can score more? Oh, KJ, that's gross.
And there's your answer.
That is a bit disgusting. Just a bit of a self-redirect. Not
an
a lot
almost
on
impossible angle.
Yes, it is a near impossible angle. The defender was backwards, was not in position for that stop. And at that point, there's not much the defender can do except watch as the ball flies overhead into the back of the net.
And isn't that the most degrading feeling? Just watching it happen, like they're putting on a show.
Knowing there's
and
nothing
that's what
you
it
can
honestly
do.
seems that they're doing. It's what they're doing right now. They're showing off what they can do, and I hardly know her just seems to be along for the ride, which this might set the tone for the rest of the series.
KJ popping that one across. He's going to launch that one upfield, but there was a defender back. So the ball stays in the midfield for now. Truffle, that's awkward. That's going to be an own goal. And Truffle, I wish he just rotated back post there because he had two teammates ready for this ball, and he cuts them off.
If he didn't have responsibilities before, if he did not have responsibilities before, I am sure KJO is dictating that he gets less now. That is a painful thing to see. And it's happened quite a lot this whole showcase. And there's going to be
an open net for KJ. He saw the gap in the rotation. Sends it downfield. And
this is getting away from him.
It's starting to get away from him, like you just said. But for me, a lot of what communicating is, you're communicating for your teammates rather than communicating for yourself. Be like, hey, you have time, you can go for this. Hey, turn, go for the ball. You have a guy behind you, be careful, stuff like that. And so now it's the matter of KJ. I don't want to say he's necessarily taking more control, as I am getting very weary of the defense of TPS right now. But KJ is going to put a softie on. That's going to be well high, and it's going to get cleaned up. It is 5-2. And TPS are beginning to check out.
They're not rotating like they used to. You can't defend, you can't block a ball out of the goal by facing the goal. You got to be back, and you have to realize that timing is everything. So if you're not, I don't know if they're going for the boost. I can't see in my peripheral on the screen, but they might just be making these sloppy mistakes that are in the end selfish, and that's going for boost and just not dividing up your time correctly.
And it's all really about time and space. Darius trying to get that one off the backboard to bounce to a teammate, but it got shut down. Truffle sending that one across. KJ almost gets bumped by his teammate. A bit of friendly fire. But
ball is taking a slightly slower pace.
Yes, I think the game is definitely slowed down. TPS definitely have this one in the bag, despite a monumental sized collapse. They're just waiting for the time to tick down. I hardly know her almost scoring themselves with no real pressure.
Maybe they're just getting tired.
They could be getting tired. It's stamina and endurance are definitely a factor when it comes to long series. But TPS moved the match point, showcase point, as I guess we'll call it here. And now they're only just 5 mere minutes away. And we are back from our short little break, giving teams a little bit of time to decide, or not decide, really just kind of figure out what they're going to do, as this could be the final game of the series, the final game of the evening. And Blake, I know we've talked a little bit during the break about what TPS has done so well, but really, what are their weak points going into what this could be this last match?
Yeah, I mean, what we've been saying before about they need to emphasize more on their role players, and it should not all be about KJO. It should not be all about him. He needs a little bit of a support system. As we were saying before, this is 3v3, where you have pillars, and you need to make the foundation for the wins that you're going to create.
And with that, we are going to game 5, as TPS is currently up 3-1 in this series. They are 1 game away from becoming the ultimate braggers and claiming the ultimate bragging rights tonight. As Haluva just short on that near post. Couldn't find a way to jam that one through. That's going to cross the net on the ground, but KJ has the speed and the awareness to send it the way. Air dribble attempt, he has it. That's a coast to coast, ladies and gentlemen.
That control, that absolute dominance he has over the ball. He didn't need his role players then, but he might need them in the future, Ernie.
Now everyone has to do their part. And KJ, his part has really been to put the ball in the back of the net, and that is what he's done so well so many times tonight. This just seems to be another day in free play for him.
You don't want to see, I hardly know her, you don't want to see him slipping on the rotations. You see sometimes they cross over each other. And these little cracks that we've been noticing, maybe they're the reason for these losses. And I don't know about you, Ernie, but it is so painful to see these small things turn into such big mistakes.
Well, the thing is, the small things, they build up and they snowball. And as mistakes get bigger and bigger and more costly, that is when the other team is going to have more and more opportunities to score and put the ball into dangerous positions. So for
it's been the story of this whole tournament.
Exactly.
It has been exactly the defining moment for each team and each winner and each loser, even more importantly. And it's devastating for each team.
KJ just going to cross that one. Not too dangerous. Eleva's going to center. Nothing doing there just yet. 2 minutes gone here in game 5. I hardly know are looking for the equalizer, as they need it or they will be going home. Oh my goodness, KJ, but he fumbles it at the end. He had a gorgeous fake. Just couldn't pull the trigger on it.
And for anybody unfamiliar, what is at stake right now is 3,300 Rocket League credits, which Heleva might have secured for his team.
And that's just a great saucer pass by KJ right over to the midfield. He knows his teammates there and just launches a missile from midfield. He had a lot of net to shoot at. He found a perfect spot for it. Bit of a team bump in the crease. It's going to be dangerous. Fraud can't get there. And a team pinch will clear it downfield. But again, KJ, he is just everywhere doing everything he can. We criticized the play style just a little bit. But Blake, it is working and they have found success with it.
They have. I will say it's off and on though. It depends on the situation. And because I hardly know her is.
Oh my God.
What was that, 3?
KJ just hit the cleanest triple tap I have ever seen. And that is hands down the play of the night, in my opinion. Oh, what a highlight reel goal by KJ.
You love to see that control. It is so pretty to see. And even though it doesn't work out all the time, man, it is just a beauty to watch.
It is difficult to do what he just did. He made it look so easy, but let me tell you, it's not. It takes so much discipline to have that much card control.
I have to say, hell of a time, and Truffle are in some good positions right now. He is popping off. He is absolutely electric right now, and they just kind of get to watch. They can toss it up every now and then and play defense, but when it comes to execution, he is the guy. Which maybe this is their play style that they're just sticking with it.
And really what it's kind of coming down to is Haluva and Truffle, they're just throwing the ball upfield, downfield, and just feeding KJ as much as they can because the offense starts and ends with him. And all of a sudden, there's 50 seconds left. And I hardly know her could just end up being forgotten here, as they have yet to find the back of the net here with 30 seconds to go. Oh, my word, it doesn't stop.
I'm speechless.
Goes forehand to backhand, undresses the entire defense.
Do we have a...
Makes it 4-0. What were you questioning?
I didn't know if somebody had left the lobby.
No,
I think got a little message
happens from time to time where the party just kind of breaks for no reason. Everyone's still in the lobby from what I can see. I was concerned we had a rage quit on our hands, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Don't believe so. The crowd does make a little noise when someone leaves a game, but with 10 seconds to go, they've battled all night long, but in the end, TPS are this evening's showcase champions.
And we didn't expect much different. We may have been hoping for a cooler David and Goliath story, but in the end, they were the better team on paper and on the field. And I don't know about you, Ernie, but it's just it was what was expected, and it's what came out.
It's what was expected, at least for you and I, as we know Rocket League a little bit, and when there's that big of a rank disparity, you know what's going to happen. You know how one player can just dominate a lower ranked player, or even multiple lower ranked players. There's so much YouTube content where a Grand Champ or a Supersonic Legend, which is the rank above Grand Champ, 1v3 in diamonds, platinums, golds, and they'll dominate. So I wasn't that surprised. I was hoping for closer matchups, and my heart was broken on that occasion. But you live and you learn, and I think for next time, I think we're going to have much closer competition.